It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Finish Strong Friday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. What does that mean? That means it's the end of the work week for most of us, not me, but that's okay. I love what I do. I'm glad I'm driving up to Buffalo tomorrow, and I'm glad I'm hopefully getting together with a listener or two, and I'm glad I'm hopefully able to call an awesome game and then come back. So, you know what? It's not the end of the work week for me, but it's the end of the Monday through Friday. It's the end of this part of the work week for me and you guys. So I want you to have the right mindset as Jack and I record here at 6:04 a.m. Eastern Time to dominate the day. Hopefully, a lot of you get a chance to listen to it on your way to work. Dominate the day, finish the work week strong so that you feel awesome about what you accomplished today. Feel good about yourself all weekend when you're hopefully watching football with family, friends, whatever. So it's a Finish Strong Friday. It's a Picks Friday. We got 6 Super Wildcard games. And of course, it is a Winners Friday.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
It's the second part of that really stands out to me. People that want to win. It's really clear. You email me, ross@rosstucker.com. I actually had several people email me to show that they followed Ross Tucker Pod on Facebook, which made it really easy for me to pick a winner. Thank you very much. The first one that did that was Billy Grisak. So congratulations to Billy. Let me know if you want a signed picture, signed press pass. I've got some awesome ones, signed football card. I love that. I mean, I love that those of you guys, gals that listen every day, that you got something signed, personalized from me, from either a card or a picture or a game I was at. It's very cool. So congratulations, Billy. I'll let you guys know on Monday who the Spread the Word winner will be next week. I don't think anybody sent me, I didn't see anybody sending me that they signed up for a free consultation at westshorehome.com/Ross yet. So no sponsor confirmation email winner this week. I don't think we got a sponsor confirmation email like any other ones either. So it's an offer this week, but certainly I didn't see anybody say they signed up for the free consultation at westshorehome.com/Ross. Seems pretty easy to do. So no sponsor confirmation email winner this week. We do have a YouTube shout out, Nicholas Donnelly. And that's another way to make it easy for me. You subscribe to youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, and then you reply and say you want the shout out. Nicholas, you got the shout out. Now you got to email me, ross@rosstucker.com, and let me know who you want the shout out for, and I can deliver that for you, my friend. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross. So there's no real big show today, but we do have some Tux Takes news items to get to before we dive into your wild card picks. We'll start with the Bears, who've hired former Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren as their president and CEO.
I don't think people care that much typically about presidents and CEOs. Isn't that interesting? Is like pro football the one sport where we care so much more about like the regular employees than we do the boss? You know, nobody even knows who the president and CEO is of most of these teams. But everybody knows the coordinators or the head coach or the GM, or certainly some of the players. It's just funny, right? Although in fairness, a lot of those guys are paid more than the president and CEO. So it's an interesting business model. Kevin Warren, initially, people were very upset with what he did during COVID. And now with all the exposure that the Big Ten recently signed up for, with having a national game at noon, 3:30, and 8 o'clock, now everybody loves Kevin Warren, all the money that he's brought into the Big Ten and USC and UCLA. I think it's interesting he's going to the Bears. Two thoughts. One is probably more job security as a Bears president and CEO. The guy that had it before was there for 20-some years. And then also, if he wants to be the NFL commissioner, which is probably a possibility, this is probably a step back into the NFL, which maybe gives him a better chance of that. I don't know.
Tuck's Takes.
The Raiders begin the process of trying to trade Derek Carr, who tweeted out his goodbye to Raider Nation.
So this is really important because I tweeted about this and I got a lot of replies saying no one would ever give him that contract, in free agency. Derek Carr is guaranteed $40 million February 15th. The Raiders are either going to agree to a trade before then or they're going to have to cut him because they don't want to guarantee that money. Okay? Take a step forward. Next part of this. Derek Carr has a no trade clause reportedly. Why would he waive that? Let's look at this logically. Okay, Jack? Why would he waive that? Why would he waive his no trade clause? He should just force the Raiders to cut him. Number one, then he gets to pick whatever team he goes to. Number two, why does he want the team he's going to have to trade anything of value to the Raiders? Why would that be good for Derek Carr moving forward? Number three, he would get a better contract. And I got a lot of pushback from people saying, he's not going to get a better contract than that one that he has right now. No way. So let's look at this logically. So you think some team would be willing to trade something of value, like a draft choice, for the right to give Derek that contract. But if he's a free agent with multiple teams bidding on his services, they wouldn't be willing to give him that contract? That makes no sense. The Raiders fans suggesting that no one would give him that contract if he got cut makes no sense. Then why would they trade for the right to that contract? That's just not logical.
Tuck's Takes.
The NFL announced there will be a neutral site game between the Bills and the Chiefs, and were they to meet in the AFC Championship game, it would be in Atlanta.
Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. Do you know that song, Jack?
No, you've beat me with your old age this time.
See, I'm not great with music. I think that's Ludacris. Luda. You know who Ludacris is?
I've heard the name, yeah.
I've heard the name.
Well, could I name one of his songs off the top of my head? No, I know he's a musical artist, but I can't just be like, if you go and they're like, name 3 Ludacris songs, I can't name a single one.
Good gracious. This is going to be interesting. At any rate, Luda had that song, Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I don't really want a neutral site dome AFC Championship game. I don't really want to see that. I'm not interested in that. On the other hand, Bills and Chiefs definitely could be the two best teams. And also, I guess I'm kind of curious what it would be like. Would it be like the SEC Championship game? Half the stands Bills fans, half the stands Chiefs fans? Because I've been to a couple SEC Championship games, and that is intense. That there is tension in that building as a result. So I guess my curiosity is a little bit piqued.
Tuck's Takes.
Lamar Jackson took to Twitter to clarify his health status, saying he is a grade 2 PCL strain bordering on a grade 3, and he still has inflammation and instability in his knee.
Well, this is highly unusual for a player to do this, right? I mean, you're taught as a player that you do not say anything about your health status because it's considered and thought to be a competitive advantage. So you don't want the team to know. it was already kind of out there from multiple places that he wasn't going to play this weekend, or that it was not looking good, and I quote. And so I think we know for sure now, it's a pretty good source, Lamar Jackson himself, that he's not going to play. And it sounds like the knee injury was a little bit worse than people thought initially. The inflammation there still is unusual per Pro Football Doc, Dr. Chow from sportsinjurycentral.com. I'm a big fan of sportsinjurycentral.com. It sounds like that is unusual, that he still has inflammation. So that has Dr. Chow a little bit worried about maybe if there was associated cartilage damage and potentially would potentially need a surgery. So that's concerning. But not only does it sound like he's not going to play this week, but even if they somehow won, which would really surprise me, doesn't sound like he'd be able to play the following week or really anytime soon, which makes even more sense, like I said yesterday, for him to not try to play, especially given his contract status.
Tuck's Takes.
Lastly, the Patriots released an unprecedented statement saying they are negotiating a long-term deal with Coach Gerard Mayo and will begin interviewing offensive coordinators next week.
This is not the Patriot way. This is really interesting. This makes me think that Robert Kraft released this statement and wanted this out there because of fan unrest, because of how bad the year was, because typically Bill Belichick wouldn't want anyone to know these things. You wouldn't find out anything until they made a hire. So this is either just Kraft releasing the statement and not even telling Belichick about it, or Kraft telling Belichick, I want you to release a statement that we're going to interview offensive coordinator candidates next week. Gerard Mayo, part of it's interesting because clearly they highly value him and want to keep him around. Either way, this statement is on some level proof that the dynamic between Kraft and Belichick has changed. Because before, Belichick would not have wanted this and it would not have happened. Now, he either relented or crafted it anyway, which is very, very interesting moving forward. The other thing that's interesting about this is that Robert Kraft, like my wife, loves wine. And I bet you Robert Kraft knows about First Leaf. It's America's most personalized wine company. First Leaf takes the guesswork out of wine selection. What I love about it is you just take a short quiz with your taste buds. It's like, I don't know, 8 questions maybe. I can't remember. And then they'll send you wines, which they did. They sent us, I think it was 6. And then my wife and I have tried, I think we're on the 3rd or 4th one. She actually took one of them last night to dinner with her friends. It was a BYO. It was a birthday dinner. So she took one of the wines to be with her friends. That's pretty cool, right? Then they customize the selection, 96% accuracy. I'll say the first ones that we got were already pretty darn good, but I'm excited for the next batch now that we're rating the ones that they've been giving us. Sign up today. You'll get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/Tucker. That's tryfirstleaf.com/Tucker to get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping. We are liking the New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. Hopefully they'll send us more of those. Tryfirstleaf.com/Tucker.
Want to know which team is going to win every single game on Sunday? Then listen up.
We will start with the Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco 49ers.
Right. So obviously for some of these, I think the pick of the winner is pretty obvious. It's just more the score and around how I think the game will go down. I think the Niners win the game, obviously. And you guys know me. I'm hoping for a close game as much as possible. I like competitive, interesting games. I think Seattle might be able to keep it close for a while and then ultimately falter. We'll see how Purdy plays in the playoffs. We'll see. These teams obviously know each other really well. I probably said earlier in the week, but the chance for the Seahawks, look, in any game, okay, the chance is turnovers and blah, blah, blah. But that notwithstanding, the chance for the Seahawks in this game is Geno is just on fire, and Geno is able to make some big plays to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I mean, that's where we're at with this thing, right? That is the chance for the Seahawks to win. I just don't see it happening. I think there's too much pressure. I don't mean playing in a playoff game. I mean like Nick Bosa. Too much pressure on Geno Smith to be able to get this done. Feels like it's been a nice ride for the Seahawks, but that it ends here. I'll take the Niners. I think it's like 27-17. 27-17, 30-17, something like that. I think that the Niners probably get a late score to win by 2 scores and to put this thing to bed.
Los Angeles Chargers or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
It's interesting because we talk about this on the Even Money Betting podcast, which is extremely popular, by the way. But the line has moved in the Chargers' direction, meaning more and more people think the Chargers are going to win the game. I agree with them. Just for, so I took the Chargers on the Even Money podcast when they were laying 1 point. They're now laying 2.5 points. That's pretty significant. 1.5 points without any real injury news is pretty significant. I like the Chargers in this game. Number one, it's hard to beat a team twice like that, and the Jags kind of smoked the Chargers earlier in the year. Number two, you guys know I'm usually pretty decent at this, and it manifests itself with me being up 39 units on the Even Money podcast. It just feels like a letdown spot for the Jags. It just feels like last Saturday was their Super Bowl, and they got it done, and kudos to them. That was amazing. But I just don't know that they're going to be able to get back to that point. And not that they're just happy to be here, but on some level, they're satisfied. Whereas I don't get that sense from the Chargers at all. The Chargers have been building up for this playoff berth. They've been building up to be able to win a playoff game. I think Herbert's better than Lawrence right now. I think the Chargers receivers are better, provided Mike Williams can play. I think they're a little more battle-tested in big games. I don't like the travel. I don't like the travel for the Chargers. I don't like that Brandon Staley played the guys last week, but I think they pick it up for him. I think they get it done. Sneeze. You like that I called it out?
You like broadcast, you're like
Well, I don't know. I mean, whatever. This is live broadcasting, right? Like you're going to sneeze sometimes. I just wanted to let you guys know what was about to happen. I'll take I think it's like a shootout though. I think this game is awesome. I think it's 31-28, Chargers 30-27, something like that.
next game is game that you'll be at, where the Buffalo Bills are home against the Miami Dolphins.
Home. As always, you guys know I love if you're in your car driving around Sunday between 1 and 4. I love if you listen a little bit, record a little video or whatever, even just take a picture of the screen in your car and tweet it at me at Ross Tucker NFL. I don't know why. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that some of the podcast listeners go out of their way to listen to the broadcast. By the way, this is the first year. All of the Westwood One broadcasts now are streamable. So you can be in your house watching. You didn't used to be able to stream them. This is the first year. It used to be radio only. This is the first year you can stream the broadcast. So you can be in your house watching the game and then be streaming me on your laptop, which is kind of cool. I like the Bills. It's still looking like Skylar Thompson will be the starter for the Dolphins. I kind of thought earlier in the week there was a small chance for Tua, bigger chance for Bridgewater, smaller chance for Skylar Thompson. This must be a really bad pinky injury for Bridgewater. I know it's his throwing hand, but it's kind of hoping he'd be able to give it a go. I think the Bills are going to sleepwalk through this one. I don't think the Bills are going to come out firing on all cylinders. I think it's just a weird situation they had such a powder keg of emotion last week with the Hamlin stuff. And then this week, it's kind of like the come down from that. And they're going against Skylar Thompson. It's not Tua. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game for the Bills. I think it's going to be like 20-10. 23-10, 23-13, something like that. They're probably obviously the best survivor pick, them or the Niners, if you have to do or the Bengals, I guess, if you have to do a survivor pick this week. We can make it the Bills just because I know some of you like hearing that sounder, but I don't think it's a blowout for the Bills. I think it's a lower scoring game that the Bills, take care of business still, but not a blowout.
We locking them up then?
Yeah, lock them up.
Your survivor / knockout / whatever you call it, pick of the week.
All right, we'll move forward to the New York Giants, who are at the Minnesota Vikings.
You know what else you should lock up, Jack? Lock up a free 30-day home trial with Peloton. You can try Peloton risk-free with a 30-day home trial. It's new members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial. Listen, it's a Finish Strong Friday. You guys know how I feel about you. I care about all of you. I just want people to live the best lives they can. Working out is a big part of that. It's your overall wellness. It's your self-confidence. It's stress relief. It's getting the endorphins going in the morning. It's a lot of awesome things. So you don't have to be some crazy athlete, and you don't have to, do some wild classes. You can do a 10-minute power walk. You can do a yoga. The instructors are awesome. These classes are on demand, which is the way this always should have been, by the way. They've got music that is whatever you're in the mood for. I'm a big fan. onepeloton.com/home-trial. Big fan of Peloton. Big fan of you. Let's combine the two. onepeloton.com/home-trial. As for the game, Jack, going back and forth on this one. I really think there's a decent chance the Giants win the game. I really do. And if you listen to the Even Money podcast, you know that. However, I also kind of feel like the Vikings have been so good in one-score games, and they're playing at home. I'm going to take the Vikings. I don't know that I feel great about it. I thought long and hard about letting the doggies out. But remember, I always make these picks based on if you guys are in some league where you're making the picks for money, you're hearing what I really think. So I really think this is a awesome game. I'm going to go 23-20 Vikings, but truly a toss-up. I guess I'm wimping out a little bit on the underdog, but I'm just going by what I think is going to happen. 23-20, Vikings win a close one. Again.
We will move forward to the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals.
What a bummer. We talked about it earlier. I mean, this just has the potential to be an awesome game. If Lamar was back, feels like it could be an awesome game. But he's not. And I don't think it's going to be. Strange that they just played him last week. Very strange. But that's the way it is. I almost feel like there should be a rule that can't happen, that you can't play somebody 2 weeks in a row with the seeding or even like a divisional opponent. I mean, there's no way to do that, but I don't love first-round matchups of divisional opponents, and I don't love rematches from the week before. It's just a little strange. I hope the Ravens can keep this one closer. I actually think they will. I think the Ravens will be able to keep this one closer than last week. Their defense is really good, and they're getting Andrews back and J.K. Dobbins. I think Tyler Huntley will play. So I think this game's more like 20-16, 23-16, as the Ravens try to like Mike Vrabel it, muddy up the waters to get a win. Still doesn't happen, but I think they're going to be able to make it competitive for us. Let's go 23-16, final answer.
We will wrap up our picks with the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So I like I'm going to go Cowboys. This is very similar for me to that Giants-Vikings game. I'm going to go Cowboys because they're just the more talented team. They've been the better team all year. And I kind of agree with Greg Cosell that I don't think Dak's going to play poorly 2 weeks in a row. And so I think the Cowboys get this done. Can you imagine, though, if they don't get any playoff wins and they lose this one to the losing record Bucks? I mean, that would be bad. That would be real, real bad. I'm going to say the Cowboys get it done. How about 24-20 Cowboys, I think. But this is another one like the Vikings-Giants that I could really, really see going either way. I'll go 24-20 Cowboys. So no underdogs from me this week. Not letting the doggies out once. Interesting. I can almost guarantee I'm wrong, right? Like at least one underdog is going to win this weekend. But who? Stay tuned. Tune in and we'll find out. Shout-outs are in order. All the other shows, by the way, are posted. College Draft, Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports. So there's plenty more for you to listen to the rest of the day or over the weekend. Still me on those other shows. Still me. Not Business of Sports, but the other ones. Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, HumanHeadNYC.com, SteakhouseSports.com, Vision Comics with an X, BackOfficeScheduler.com, Evergreen Economics, Go-Bengals, and tomorrow it will be exactly 1 month from Valentine's Day. I am shocked that more of you guys haven't gotten. You should see, I'm going to start to read some of the emails that we've gotten from people that got these gifts for loved ones for the holidays. It is incredible how many people said, best gift I've ever gotten her. She was crying. She tells everybody about it. I'm just telling you, it's the best gift. It really is. And it's a month out from Valentine's Day. MyFrontPageStory.com. Next week, I'm giving you a code, and that might be the sponsor confirmation email winner. Either MyFrontPageStory.com or WestShoreHome.com/Ross for the free consultation, which also, by the way, would be a pretty cool Valentine's Day gift to remodel the bathroom in one day. That'd be pretty cool, too. I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, RossTucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.